Not, I know what you're thinking. Something looks different. Yeah, it's this corny virtual background I have behind me, but I only have it up for one reason, and that's to distract you from what you're about to see and potentially hear if you're on our audio side. The Big M and I were on vacation in Florida, and we thought it'd be fun to do a Blabber Brains show from the road. But we didn't have any of our equipment with us. So we made do with what we had. And the end result is video that's a little dark and grainy and audio that's not as good as it normally is. But don't worry. Our next show will be back to normal. We'll have a special guest with us again. We got some really good guests lined up for you. So, caveat, the Big M and I are smoking cigars and drinking adult beverages, but we were homebound. We weren't driving anywhere. So if you're going to do so responsibly, please. In the meantime, enjoy this special edition of Blabber Brains Show. Let's do this.
Blabber Brains.
And welcome to another edition of Blabber Brains. This looks a little different. Yes, I know we're a much darker situation. It's really grainy. We apologize for the video. This is going to be a short edition, but this is a southern edition. The Big M and I are on vacation in Florida. As you can see, Mark and I are not social distancing, so he's taking extra precautions to make sure that he's safe.
I've been playing it safe down here, kids.
I am Michael Kadrie, and this is the Big M, Mark Anthony, and we are coming to you live from Riverview, Florida, just outside of Tampa. And we just had to. What are you doing?
I'm saying hi to everybody.
You're not even looking at the camera. You're looking over there.
What the hell? Like I know I could see anything.
Well, take your glasses off or
this
something.
is what I'm doing. This for the kids out there. They like this stuff here. I am playing it safe, but not quite this safe.
He's playing it safe. Which is okay.
Okay. Put on my personality.
Look, you and I are still clean as of now. We survived the plane ride down here. We survived all of our excursions in Florida. We survived eating too much. And
yeah,
I know you can't see me from the waist down, but I'm pretty sure the Big M and I put on an extra 10 pounds while we were here.
Look out, ladies.
Those of you who are a whole lot of rosy are going to find us a little extra appealing right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, baby, in the jibs.
No, we're going to try to keep this brief. We know because it's a horrible video. This is not a typical Blabber Brains show, but we didn't want to let some things bypass us. There's a whole lot of things that I noticed in our trip down here and out and about in the town. Look, what's getting a bad rap is states that are lifting the mandate on masks. And the reason it's getting a bad rap is because for some reason there are those in the media and those, I'm just going to say it, those on the left who think that when the states that lift the mandates of masks think that everybody's just walking around maskless, like it's the old West or it's just everybody every man for themselves. That's not what's going on, okay? Just about every place that we went to in our 4 or 5 days we're here required that you had a mask going into the establishment. I mean, I would say every place had a mask mandate.
The only thing that I recall when we walked into was a convenience store where nobody was wearing them. We were the only ones wearing it, and then another woman.
But it was a convenience store in the middle of nowhere. Now, and again, the owner is free to decide whether you require a mask or not, and there were people in there without masks, but they did have the plexiglass up between the cashier and the patrons. Mark and I both had our masks on. You know, it's up to the individual.
Put this on again? For the kids.
Look, we have the freedom to choose the right thing. We don't need to be told from the government what to do and what not to do. I understand that at first that was a good idea because we just didn't know what we were dealing with, right? So, but as of now, we're over a year into this. I think we got a good grasp on this. The majority of us know that COVID is real. Some of you are still out there on the fringe. I don't know why you're still out there. Look, this is real. But understand that it's up to us as individuals to control our own liberty. It's up to the businesses that run themselves to make the decision for themselves. And by and large, they are. We don't need a decision from Big Brother to say what to do and what not to do. We can do it for ourselves. And I think that's what the whole lifting the mask mandate in certain states means. This is not a free-for-all. It's not every man for itself. Everybody's still, for the most part, acting responsibly, at least from what we've witnessed. So Just wanted to get that out.
There was city ordinance, Ybor City.
Yeah.
It was a city ordinance to work. But the only thing is, it seems down here, we have a different group of buffoons up around us that are going to probably cause problems. Look, I'm going to take care of it. You do whatever you need to do. I'll do what I need to do. And if there's, I'm already on a pre-register list. I don't have any health conditions or age yet. I'm still considered young as far as COVID vaccine goes. I don't know about the rest of the general public, but and I'll get my vaccine. But that's my choice that I'm going to do. People need to do what they feel they need to do. But if I think you're doing something that could cause me harm or somebody I'm around harm, then I'm just going to keep my distance. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm just going to, if I'm in somewhere and it just seems like it's not a good scene, then I'm going to go somewhere else.
But that's all we have to do, right? That's what America is all about. It's about freedom. It's about liberty. It's about making the choices ourselves and taking on that responsibility ourselves. It's not about government telling us what to do or keeping us under the thumb. That's not what America is about. Again, it made sense in the beginning because we didn't know what we were dealing with, to maybe shut some things down, to have government set the guidelines and the rules and stuff. But we know what we're dealing with right now. And yes, look, the idiots that are out there were out there from the beginning, okay? They were denying it. They're not wearing masks. They're still out there, okay? But that doesn't mean government still needs to be in control of everything. We as humans, as individuals, as Americans, are still in control of our liberties, of our freedom. We're free to mask up. We're going into businesses. Businesses are still requiring it in states like Florida where it's not mandated by the government. So just take heed. I just want to dispel that rumor that making sure that you know that because a state says the government will no longer mandate that you need to wear a mask, that doesn't mean it's a free-for-all for everybody. Florida is still pretty safe, okay? 90-some% safe as much as every other state that's requiring a mask mandate is my assessment of what we've seen so far since we've been here.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the people. Hey, we'll see what happens elsewhere. We've been safe down here. I was worried about coming down here, booked this flight months ago, and things have been no different than if I was back up at home. Back to myself, I don't want to get stuck where I'm staying here in a half bedroom on a blow-up cot for 14 days. I have to. I'm going to get sick. I need to be back home.
He's worried about staying down here longer. I'm worried that I won't be staying down here longer. I wish I was staying down here longer, but that's a story for another time. That being said, I would like to do a quick blabber boast based on some of our experiences down here. So let's cue it up.
Blabber boast.
Okay, I have a few things to boast about. If you are in the Tampa, the Sarasota area, if you're ever on vacation down here, if you live down here, there's a few things I want to boast about. First of all, it's a lot of you who visit this area or live in this area know about the Daiquiri Deck in St. Norman's Circle, which is in Lido Key, down in Siesta Key, so on and so forth. But there's a brand new one in Anna Maria Island that's just fantastic. The view from the upper deck was amazing, just looking out at the Gulf. The food I thought was really good, exceptional. Prices were very reasonable. So many places around that area just gouge you with pricing. Look, they got great daiquiris, great food, great visuals. I highly recommend visiting the Daiquiri Deck. The one we saw in Siesta Key was a little overcrowded for my liking. I think it was, now granted, that was on a Saturday, and we went to the one in Anna Maria on a Tuesday, so completely different.
Yeah.
But I would say just use your own discretion as to how crowded you like a place, whether you feel you're comfortable enough going in there or not. So another thing I'd like to blab about is exactly what the Big M and I are doing right now, puffing on some cigars from the Long Ash Cigar Company in Ybor City. They make them right there in the shop. You can stand there in the window and watch them. You can go inside and watch them make these things. They have a humidor full of them. And I didn't know what to expect in getting these cigars. You can order them online. Just Google up Long Ash Cigars, Ybor City, And
Yeah, they'll ship them to you.
they'll ship them to you. And I tell you what, it is worth it. They discount packages of 5 and 10 and higher at a really good rate. And I tell you what, they are, you know, it's almost like you think about them like a microbrewery. Like there's some microbreweries that have really good beer, and you're really into them. Like this is better than any beer I can buy, like in the store or retail or something like that. These cigars are kind of the same way. There's plenty of cigars out there that are good enough that we enjoy on a regular basis.
Yep.
And too long to list the names of the cigars. But a no-name cigar by a local company in Ybor City that's hand-rolling their cigars like they did 100 years ago in Ybor City and longer. Boy, I mean, they are fantastic. I didn't know what to expect, but what do you think?
Oh, it's great. I mean, now that we're probably talking about these, they probably won't let us promote this because we're promoting use of tobacco, but they're great. The one I'm smoking here, which is a smaller cigar, I'm getting near the end of it though. And not that I asked, but when we walked into the place, went back to the humidor where they're making the cigars, they make them all there, these two people, and they just keep putting them back in the humidor. Nice young woman came back and, you know, told us a little bit about everything. And for some reason, first thing she said, these over here are the closest as you're going to get to a real Cuban. So I'm like, okay, well, so I bought a couple of them, and I've been smoking this one here this evening, and I'm going to tell you what, it's really good. It's too bad Casio is a piece of shit. I think we should just go down there and take over the country.
And take over the cigars.
And that's it. We could have the cigars and have people.
I'm all for that.
And give people actually real jobs and work down there, and they won't even want to leave there.
Hey,
And the weather's great. You'd stay there, and you can make these great cigars, and it's actually really good. I mean,
Big M for President, El Presidente, and he will make sure that there's a cigar in every household.
absolutely. That's why you guys didn't vote for me. You saw what happened back in January.
Look, the Big M was a better choice than Uncle Joe Biden that's in office right now. I'm sorry. You guys made a huge mistake passing up this guy for president. Although I'm saying this even though he didn't officially announce me as his running mate. I would have been his running mate. I would have made a good vice president to his president. But that's still a possibility in Cuba. I think we have a revolution on our hands.
That's how we fix these. That's how we fix these problems. We just go over and take over these countries and set up shop, and everybody will be happy.
It shouldn't be too hard. It's just a little island.
No,
How hard could it be?
I mean that's all you need to do. That would be the biggest thing to fix a lot of the problems of people.
We're going to do that. That's coming up, and Blabber Brains will then be broadcasting live from Cuba. We're going to put up Wi-Fi down there. Right now, they don't have Wi-Fi. We're going to get Wi-Fi into Cuba. We're going to rock Cuba. One last thing to blab about is also, again, in Ybor City is Zydeco Brew Werks, run by the wonderful J. Paul Pepin, who is just a fabulous guy. If you're ever in that area, make sure you stop in the Zydeco, grab a couple of their brews. They brew a lot of their own beer, their own whiskey. They have a primo selection of things. It's a great place to hang out, especially like when there's an event in town, like a parade or the Super Bowl or, you name it. If there's a big event in town, that's the place to hang out. Zydeco Brew Werks in Ybor City. Good people. Check out Mike, too, who's been there for 3 years. I make Mike, great bartender, and just highly recommend that place.
Yeah, cool place, great beer. I had this beer, a nitro beer, was pretty heavy. It was almost reminded me a bit of a porter, and is that the right term? I don't know my beers that well, but it had a hint of like a chocolate, slight sweetness at the end of it. It was a nitro brew, and it was fantastic. And they even let you, if you talk to them for a while, they let me try. We got our bartender let me have a little sample of one of his favorite bourbons, and just give me just enough, probably about, I'd say, a quarter or a third of a shot just to be able to try, and that's pretty cool. I mean,
and Mark and I were there a few years ago, and Jay was a great host to us coming from out of town, and showed us a really good time. It made that Super Bowl a lot more tolerable to watch. If you remember the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl, which was a snooze fest, I think watching that in the condition that we were made it a lot more bearable.
Yeah.
So
They gave us some free stuff to try down there. He was drinking some crazy expensive, I think, bourbon. I had this. They were taking tequila and aging it in an oak barrel with vanilla.
Oh, I had that too. That's their own stuff.
Yeah, it was.
They make their own whiskey. They make their own tequila. Look, I mean, it's a great place. They make their own beer. Check out Zydeco. Good company, good products. Just an excellent place to hang. And they have like an outdoor space now upstairs. Well, like I said, when we have those festivals like Gasparilla or Super Bowl or Parade or whatever, just a great place to hang out. So I think that'll end this edition of
Blabber Boast.
Okay. Like I said, we didn't want to make this episode too long. We know that we promised you great guests coming up this year for our second season, and I'm not backing down from that. We have one guest coming up probably on our next show, if not the show after that, from a huge super band, and this guy is actually playing in multiple super bands. Will be one of our guests, as well as I'm just going to tease. I don't want to talk too much about it. A gentleman who's been on a lot of the different news circuits. Used to work for the FBI. Does he still work for the FBI?
Secret Service.
Sorry, Secret Service. Who's got a lot of inside information. We're going to have him on the show. We're going to see how far we can push him to divulge some of the secret stuff that he knew in the Secret Service. Are there aliens? Does he know about the aliens? Does he know about Area 51? Does he know about the presidents and what they know? How deep does this go? But who killed JFK? We'll see if he knows this stuff. We're going to press him. And we're going to, if he doesn't tell us, then we're going to put bamboo sticks under his fingernails or something. We'll torture him to the fact that he'll have to give up this information.
Yeah, especially when he won't be anywhere near us when we're talking. We're going to have to have somebody show up at his house.
We'll have to have somebody special come to his house and put a little extra pressure on him so that look, we're looking about breaking new information here on Blabber Brains Show. And, by the way, speaking of which, we are now have expanded big time, okay? We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on just about every major source that you can find a podcast. We are now streaming this show from. So there's no excuse for being able to miss this show. If you just want to listen, if you can't tune in to watch the videos, you can listen to us anytime you want. Stitcher Premium, one of the biggest podcast distributors out there. We are now on Stitcher Premium, okay? There's no excuse for missing the Blabber Brains Show.
Unless they don't have utilities or electricity. And if you don't have electricity, you live on James Street in North Versailles, I'll just crank it up real loud.
That's all.
When we put out there.
Just wait for a block party, and then we'll blast it through any kind of speaker system that we have to make sure that you're able to hear it. Look, this is a shorter edition, so there's no excuse for missing this edition. And again, we are far and wide. We are on just about every source that you can imagine, including, like I said before, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Instagram. Look, we're out there, and our audience, thankfully, is growing rather than shrinking. And thanks to a lot of our special guests, like our recent special guest and Rudy Sarzo and Lacey Sturm and John LaFontaine and so on and so forth. We promise you bigger and better guests coming up this season. Right now, we weren't able to do that because we're just on vacation, but we didn't want to miss this opportunity to get out another episode while we were down here and had a few things to talk about. So, look, if you're in one of the states that have lifted the mask mandate, like Texas or South Dakota or Florida and a few other states around the country, don't fret by not going to those states, because that doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all. You can still wear your mask up. Going to the businesses, they're still going to require. We went to a Walmart. Walmart says require you to wear a mask. It's safe, okay? We just have more freedom this way by having the companies and the individual people make those decisions and not government. And I am all for less government intrusion, and I hope you are as well. So I don't know, anything else you want to end with here?
No, if I keep eating the way I'm doing, I'm getting fat. All I need to do is have this beard grow in more, and I'm going to be the new Luke Combs of Western Pennsylvania. He doesn't know who he is. Guy sold millions and millions of albums.
I don't listen to country, but okay. Or you could be the new Matt Weston. Wait, Matt doesn't have that kind of growth going on. But anyways.
No, but he could be the new me.
Or,
I'm not doing too
Matt
bad
could be
myself.
the new Big M. So, Matt, if you're out there watching this episode, which we know, I think he's tuned into Blabber Brains, just grow yourself a Big M beard, and I think you'll gain even more success than you've already got.
Let's go on tour.
The Big M opening up for Matt Weston, or vice versa.
We'll flip a coin at the end of the
Yeah, you
night.
can split it both. It was kind of like the David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar tour, where they were taking turns back and forth. They could do the same thing.
No, you're going out there at the same time, and the band knows songs from both of us. That's it. I sing background on his. I'll sing background on mine. I play guitar in his song.
That works. So anyways, we're sorry for the brief Blabber Brains show, but we thought it would be kind of cool to check in from our southern location. We're sorry for the poor lighting and the poor video and the graininess of this, but we'll be back next time with our regular broadcast, and hope you all tune in to then. But until next time, we will have a better guest next time. So make sure you check us out on the next edition of Blabber Brains Show. Until then, for the Big M, this is Michael Kadrie. We'll see you next time.
See you later.